I'm sorry, we're running about a minute behind, so I'm going to call the January 9th board meeting to order. I appreciate everybody coming out on this dreary, nasty, cold night, but I do appreciate everybody being here this evening. First thing we're going to do is I'm going to call Mr. Ethan Thompson to the front. He is a senior at Archer, and he's going to lead the Pledge of Allegiance and tell us a little bit about himself.
I pledge of allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Ethan, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you go to school, what you're doing, what's going on your senior year.
I'm a senior student at Archer Learning Center. Part of the construction class. I work at Kane's Chicken Fingers. I don't know. I really enjoy my construction class. It's taught by Mr. Schritz. It's taught me a lot about construction and just general life lessons, I guess. We've gotten to work like actually in the community. There was a woman who, she's disabled, and she needed help with her staircase for her house because she just had like a step that just wasn't very safe. So we got the opportunity to come out, design the staircase. It was all student-led, and then build the staircase for her. And it was a really cool opportunity.
What schools have you attended while you've been in Springdale?
I've been to Walker Elementary, John Tyson Elementary, Helen Tyson Middle School, Southwest Junior High, Lakeside Junior High, Springdale High School, and then Archer Learning Center.
So you've been here your whole career?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, board, does anybody have any questions for Ethan?
What's your plans after graduation?
After graduation, I have to wait till I'm 18, and then I want to get an apprenticeship at an electrical company. I've been talking with Mars Electrical and Allied Electrical. I'm hoping that'll work out for me.
Tell us about this art project that you were part of.
All right, so Ozark Regional Transit, I guess, talked to the school about wanting a collaborative with the students and like get our art on the buses. And my English teacher, Miss Baskey, taught us a lesson about this man named Ashley Bryan. And he was an African American who made like stained glass art about like faith and like family and a bunch of cool stuff like that. So I wanted to try my luck at it. I just did it with a painting because I haven't really worked with art before. But it was a cool opportunity. I tried to make it look like a stained glass piece. And I made it like a faithful piece to show that like, I don't know, God can be for everyone. And I appreciated that opportunity. I thought it was really cool. And I think I'm gonna make it on an ORT bus, so.
It's awesome.
Cool. Send us a picture.
We'd love to see it.
Yeah, I'd love to see it.
Anything else for us? Well, Ethan, we appreciate you being here. Is any of your family here?
No, sir.
Okay, that's fine. We appreciate you being here this evening, and like I said, you're welcome to hang around. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Appreciate you being here. You can hang around and watch as much of the meeting as you would like, or if you need to bug out and go to work or do anything like that.
Yes, sir. I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, Dr. Cleveland, how's our agenda look for this evening? Any changes?
No, sir.
All right.
I'll make a motion to accept the agenda as presented.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Mrs. Creek and a second by Mr. Ramos to accept the agenda as presented. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that brings us to the consent agenda. We've got our minutes from last month, as well as the report on our school board training hours. Everybody looks great on the school board training hours. So we're good there. Everybody's staying in compliance. Is there anything that we need to talk about on that?
Some of you are overachievers.
Well,
You have a lot of hours.
It's all Kevin.
This is a great board.
You don't have to talk.
If you don't know,
Go
this board,
member by member.
this board won the best board award in the state this year. And I'm just kidding. They deserve it, and their hours reflect it. But some are really high. Mr. Edison, 55 hours just this year is pretty awesome. So,
All
Thank
in a
you.
day's work.
That's right.
Or a
Just
week
comes
and a
with the
half.
territory. All right, so if there's nothing else to talk about on the consent agenda, we need to take care of that.
I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. Bell and a second by Mrs. Cook to approve the consent agenda as presented. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, I'm gonna pass it off to Dr. Cleveland, and we got some pretty cool recognitions to go through now.
Yeah, the first one is back to the school board. Our governor created a proclamation to identify that it is School Board Appreciation Month. And it's a great proclamation. I think Mr. Hutchinson has it. I don't know if we have a picture of it.
Let's say we all have a copy of it, and I'm not gonna read this
Please don't
thing.
read it. Yeah.
I don't know if there's a slide, but if anybody wants to see it, they're more than welcome to come up and take a look at one. All the board members have one, so.
The governor did an excellent job and understands that the school board across the state, they do all this work for free. In fact, it costs them money. Costs them time, costs them energy, costs them money. And what we don't want them to do is for it to cost them friendships and jobs and all of that. But the school board is it's a thankless job, and I recognize that, and most people do. And the intense pressure that each feels to make sure that the district runs well, and that the kids are protected, and that the teachers are protected and appreciated. That's a huge deal, and it's the focus that they have all the time. And anyway, I personally, although I'm their superintendent, they selected me, I'm very appreciative of that, but I'm also very appreciative of them as individuals, as humans, because they are, in my view, some of the best people God ever put on the earth. And I know that because I know them, and I appreciate them for sharing with me and then investing in me. So if you don't care, please recognize them for their work and their effort. I think there are some tokens on the desk there for you. The kids have made some things. And I know that the canvas bag was provided by Springdale High School East program, and Bailey Jones is the advisor. The keychain, Westwood, took care of that, and the advisor is Lynette Curzon. And the paperweight, John Tyson East, Jennifer Bogart, and that's really cool too. Trent brought me.
There's a lottery ticket too.
Well, I didn't talk about that. It's why the quarter to scratch it off. I think there's a lottery ticket attached to it as well. I didn't know if that was just for Clinton or what, but yeah, somebody brought him a lottery ticket. So, thank you, Mr. Hutchison. For sure.
Hey, full disclosure.
And full disclosure, for sure. Next, I'd like to invite Ms. Kelly Williamson and Mr. Rodney Ellis up for some special CTE business and industry partner recognitions.
Good evening, Board. I want to just recognize some more of our business and industry partners tonight. And we've got several groups here and individuals who will recognize that have been working with our students and teachers. And Ms. Williamson and I, our CT coordinator, we get to work with a lot of people on behalf of our district, our teachers and our students to, I guess, look at older relationships, help develop those and push those forward, create new relationships, and then also the goals are to have as much success and opportunities for our students as possible. You know, as I've often said, whether that's a route that it's about options, whether you go into the workforce full-time, whether you go to college, you go part-time, either or, it's all about options and success for you as a student. So the people that we have here tonight, as we'll do in some ongoing sessions, are very important to what we do, and it's just a small token of how much we appreciate these individuals and groups, in some sense several. So I will start with Flintco, and what we'll do as we did last time. I'll have them come up and we'll all end up here together. We'll speak a little bit about the partnerships and then have a time for you to entertain any questions. So this certificate is for Chad Crouch, but all of Flintco. So Chad obviously always sends a team. and we appreciate that team and all they do. So I have Brent Framer, I have Jeff Baxter, and Jorge Melgar. There he goes. So if you guys can come up, I'd appreciate it. So if you guys could just speak a little bit about, last year we worked on some opportunities for some of our engineering construction students to go spend some time job shadowing in the project management trailers. And maybe you guys could speak a little bit about that and what we're looking to develop further.
Absolutely.
Yeah, hey, good evening. My name is Jeff Baxter, and we had the absolute pleasure of having a young man named Mario join us this spring semester. It was actually technically almost the whole year last year. Spent some time in the job trailer, usually from around 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock, although he wanted to work a lot longer. So, I mean, that's a testament to this program, first off, is sending really good individuals who are go-getters. I mean, this guy, I mean, this program, in a sense, is really affording these kids a tremendous opportunity, and we've spoken about it before amongst each other, just saying how we wish we had this opportunity actually early on. I mean, it took me almost 7 years of college to figure out what I was good at and what I wanted to do, and a whole lot of money. So Mario, to this day, he actually still calls us. He shows up to the job to see how it's going because he's invested in the job and invested in the team that we have out there. I'd like to take a little bit of credit, at least for the job out there, but he actually got a job at MCC as an electrician following graduation. So what he's learning there at Springdale High School and the on-the-job experience really kind of afforded this opportunity, and he's still working there. Talked to him New Year's Day, actually. So appreciate the recognition, and we look forward to an ongoing partnership with some more interns. So, thank you.
Okay, so appreciate Flintco and some of these opportunities, and we're looking to develop those further with the pre-apprenticeship group that we have attending SHS at night during the evening. So next I have Shane Acosta from Cargill. He's the complex manager. Shane's worked a lot with our students in animal science, poultry science over at HAR-BER. We've had some of their representatives at Springdale High, and we're also in discussions to how to further develop opportunities with Cargill.
Yeah, so first of all, thank you for the recognition. I consider us early on with the partnership. As he mentioned, we've opened up our doors to HAR-BER High School students and other ag students to come in, see what we do in our facility, talk about opportunities, talk about things that they can do, the different aspects from safety to engineering to food safety to processing, all the different aspects of what we have to offer, not only at Cargill, but within our industry. And then we've also had managers go to the schools and truly help with some of the labs that they have. So I do look forward to working with the team to actually open up some partnerships or some internships for next year. So we'll be doing that. So thank you.
Next, we have Patrick Swope and Julie Lawrence from that Legacy National Bank. And we're able to get some interns on there this fall. Julie. And Patrick, we appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
So look forward to developing more of those opportunities. If you could speak a little bit about what that's looked like from our interns and how we further develop that.
Okay, so again, thank you. My name is Julie Lawrence, and this is our first year to have interns. And we have two. We have one from HAR-BER and we have one from Springdale. And so the first semester, they spent a little bit of time in every department at the bank. You know, most people think of banks and they just think of lenders. At least I did. I'm new to banking myself. But it takes a lot of different departments to keep a bank running and to cover all the bases. And so first semester, they spent time in every department. And then second semester, they're working on the teller line and getting trained, and will actually leave with some real world experience that hopefully will help them down the road. That's it. Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
And last but not least is E4All with Rodrigo Salas. So he's worked a lot this year with our business teachers and students and really developing something that's an entrepreneurship impact for, I believe, our students and teachers. So I'll let you speak a little bit about that, Rodrigo.
Absolutely. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Rodrigo Salas. So if you don't know what E4All is all about, let me give you a quick overview. We are a nonprofit that are helping individuals in the community here in Northwest Arkansas to start and grow their businesses. So we have a couple of programs, an accelerator program and a pitch competition that we do twice a year, both in English and Spanish, to help more people in the community. So last year we partnered with the Springdale School Districts and the Tyson Family Foundation to bring not only entrepreneurial representation, but also career representation to the classroom. So we have a big network of volunteers that mentor our entrepreneurs on a weekly basis. And between our entrepreneurs and our volunteers have been coming to the classes to talk about their experiences, talk about what they do, how they do it, and how they were able to be successful despite the challenges that they faced in life. What we want to do with that is inspire the kids and show them that regardless of where they come from, what they look like, they can be successful at what they want to do regardless of that. So that's one of the things that we're doing. We're also going to conduct the first pitch competition in the district, and that is going to be on April 5th. So that's going to be among the high schools of Springdale, Don Tyson, and HAR-BER. And so they're going to have first an internal competition at each school, and they're going to send their top participants to the district competition on April 5th. So we're partnering with the schools to train them. We're going to give them some workshops, how to present, how to prepare a pitch. And hopefully all those skills that they're going to be learning, they're going to be able to use them. Not only, we don't want them to be entrepreneurs. If they want to pursue a career in any other place, that's fine. But those skills that they're going to be learning, they're going to be able to apply them and use them. So that's the goal of these two programs. We are going to continue working with the district because we also, through our entrepreneurs, we want to bring internship opportunities for the students as well. So that's something that we're still in the works, so we don't know yet how that's going to work. But that's for 2024 to be part of the plan. But that's basically what we're trying to do.
That's awesome.
If you have any questions.
Thanks.
Thanks.
So do you have any questions for any of these groups, these individuals? Thoughts? Okay, well, I really appreciate.
Real quick.
Yeah.
I know Flanco said that you guys had him come over a couple hours per week. Is that like with the bank, how often do they come? How many hours or how many days do they come in?
Well, it depends on the schedule, their schedule.
Okay.
But I will say that block scheduling is a huge help. So they can actually come for a chunk of time. So we have, Angel comes in the morning, all morning, 8 to noon. And then Mason comes in the afternoon, 1 to 5.
Okay.
And so they actually have some good time to dig in and learn some stuff or get some experience before they have to leave.
Cool.
And then they also came and worked during Christmas break as well.
Well, we appreciate all of y'all doing that for our students. And the more that you guys can do that, the better we'd like it. So we appreciate the partnerships. So.
We definitely value them, and as we continue to grow this, that block scheduling, as Julie mentioned, to your point, has really opened the door for our students to be able to go in and participate in, what we'll just call real field experience. Doesn't matter which avenue they choose to go. So that's really been a benefit to our students, and I think to our partners, because it's a lot easier to have someone come in for a half or a full day as opposed to trying to squeeze you in at 12:30 to 2:30 in the afternoon. So appreciate your support, and most of all, I really appreciate these people coming and taking their time and working with us on a daily basis. So my group will go out and get a picture, and thank you, board.
Thanks.
Appreciate you guys.
How are you?
Thanks. I wrote down April 15th, what time and what.
Of course, everybody's invited. Yes, yes. Please join us.
Next, I'd like to recognize Donald Tucker. Donald, if you'd come forward. While he's coming forward, Coach Fipple would have been here this evening, but he's at his basketball games tonight. And so he asked that I introduce Donald Tucker. Donald has plenty to say about him, but about himself, I'm sure he's going to do that this evening. I love Donald, he's great. But I have to tell you, as the superintendent, I am so pleased with the foundation selection of Mr. Tucker. I've found him to be honest, hard worker, and quite frankly, a good friend. And I'm going to enjoy working with him over the next 100 years, right? To improve all of our efforts here. So, Mr. Tucker, congratulations on being executive director of the foundation. Welcome to our school board.
Thank you, Dr. Cleveland. It's an honor to be here, school board. Thank you for having me. We enjoy our partnership with the Springdale Public Schools. I've been in Springdale my whole life, and the fact that I get to serve the kids in any capacity is a privilege, and I understand that. And the fact that I get to do it on an official capacity is even better for me. So the foundation, I speak for the foundation, the Springdale Athletic Foundation, is we're very excited and passionate about helping the athletics in this district and helping the kids. I saw the workforce services, partners here. We also utilize some of the kids in the district for our live stream broadcast. It's a great partnership we have with the district. We do that as well. They're award-winning kids. They do a fantastic job, and it just fills our soul, and it helps us out to be better people and better stewards and better partners with the district. We're looking forward to it. We've got a lot of work to do, and we know that. And so the district has identified and hired me to come on and take that baton, as you would, to the next level, so we can help with you guys, help grow the district, help grow the kids, and be a better community. So do you guys have any other questions, any questions I can answer for? Great. Thank you, board. Dr. Cleveland, thank you very much.
Thanks for doing that.
You going to introduce your congratulations?
Oh, I can. My wife, my youngest daughter, Camden Tucker, and my youngest son, Maddox Tucker.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Mr. Tucker's hit the ground running. I've seen him, I can't tell you how many times since he's taken the position. We had a couple-hour meeting yesterday morning, and I expect those to continue. Great plans. Thank you, Mr. Tucker.
Thank you, sir.
Mark Smith?
Good evening, Dr. Cleveland Board. We just wanted to quickly tell you about some changes that are coming. There was a meeting that we had at the co-op where they were discussing some changes that are coming our way. This presentation was from Hope Worsham, who's one of our assistant commissioners, and this is in regards to the accountability feedback. This all stems from some of the changes that are happening in LEARNS. And so the first thing that I wanted to talk to you about is the reward distribution. This presentation is not necessarily in the order in which they presented it, so I just wanted you to know that. But in the reward distribution, as you know, every year we get to celebrate our schools and the amount of money they receive. One of the things that they have said previously is that it was heavily weighted more towards some of the younger grades, and they wanted to disperse that. So now they've taken the different schools, they put them into bands like they do for the accountability system, and they will be distributing the funds based on those grade bands. So there will be a wider distribution of the money. The other thing that I want you to know, and this is huge, these next two slides, is for the last probably 8 years, you've heard probably 30 presentations in regards to our A through F accountability. And in that, we've had different parts. If you'll notice the top band for K-8, and that is what we're currently looking at, we took our math and our ELA, and it was about 35% for achievement. We had 25% for growth, 25% for math, so there was about 50% for growth. And then if you'll remember, we had this 15% that was divided into 4 different parts, and those were called our SQSS. And just as a reminder, that was our attendance, our reading, our science growth, and our science achievement. And that's how they put the numbers together, and from that we got a single score that determined whether a school was an A through F. As of right now, they're changing that structure, and this is what will go into place for this year's current school year, meaning this is what they're going to be using to give us our grade for the end of this year. So the changes are, if you'll notice, the biggest change is they took out SQSS, meaning attendance, reading, science growth, and science achievement is pushed aside, and now they're taking science, and science has a lot more points. So 5% of that will be science weighted achievement, 10% of that will be science growth. And so for elementary K through 8, you're looking at math, science, and English growth and achievement for their scores. When you look at secondary, there's 2 changes. Notice the same thing before. Secondary, the high schools actually had another component, and that was the component of graduation. And since they expect every student will graduate, they've actually gone from 15% for graduation down to 5%. So the graduation will be weighted less. If you'll also notice, they took out SQSS, which has 11 separate indicators. Elementary had 4, secondary had 11. Ms. Tischer's going to talk about those in just a second. They have removed a lot of those and put a larger emphasis on post-secondary readiness. You'll also notice, because of the redistribution of points, that ELA science achievement and growth now have a big part. So ultimately what's happening is our SQSS is changing, and they're putting a lot more emphasis on the science component of what's happening. And in secondary, they're putting a really big emphasis on the post-secondary readiness. This is great for us because we've been on this pathway now for at least 2 solid years, setting ourselves up nicely for this post-secondary readiness, but those are some big changes. So I want you to know when we get our reports and our letter grade for next year, it will be based on this new system of accountability.
What's the measure for post-secondary readiness?
Ms. Tischer's going to go over that in just a second. Yes.
I was trying to steal that.
No. Any other questions? Okay.
Good evening. So I will cover the components that have been released to us. And so if you kind of see in the blue band up at the top, leading up to the 27-28 school year, we are in a transition period concerning this post-secondary readiness indicator. It will focus on existing readiness measures, and I'm going to talk about those in just a second. But I want you to know that this is leading up to the full implementation of career pathways that will be identified by the state department. And so currently, if you look on my left, those are the 11 components that are included in the SQSS score now, today, or for our previous letter grade. Moving forward, you can see the ones that have been removed. And leaving the focus on on-time credits. That means pacing in terms of the amount of credits you're supposed to have each year, beginning in 9th grade, toward graduation. The ACT composite score, there's an ACT readiness benchmark, and then there's also a component for AP, IB, and concurrent courses. If you'll notice, community service used to be included in SQSS, but I just want to remind you all that this year's current 9th graders, when they are graduates, every one of them will be required to have 75 hours of community service to receive their diploma. And so those students, the removal of this is due to the fact that it's now a graduation requirement. And then it says, and career and technical measures as they become available. And so a little bit of information about that. I don't want to read to you, but I am just going to read a small piece in the top in blue. It says, Arkansas is building new college and career pathways that will ensure students graduate ready for the next chapter of their lives. While these pathways are under development, they are expected to to include key components that will be valued through an index that provides school points relative to the rigor and value of each achievement, meaning the degree to which it opens doors for students after high school. And so what will happen is, based on an external audit that was done on the state career and technical education program, the state is taking all of that information and, I guess, shoring up the career pathways that we offer to our students. And through that process, they are developing that index. And our understanding is that it will be point-based, how the A through F accountability system is now. And so you can kind of look at the post-secondary measures for 27 and beyond when this is fully implemented. So they're going to be looking at three things: coursework, credentials and assessments, and then opportunities. And so when we look at coursework, we're looking at things that are above and beyond what's required for a diploma. So for example, it may be, right now it's AP, IB, and concurrent courses related to the pathway, but those concurrent opportunities are expanding all the time. Like for example, we were just working with NWAC on the concurrent opportunity for students who are in our pre-educator pathway. And so now our students in our pre-educator pathway will be able to get college credit while they're studying to be teachers while they're in high school. And that's just one of a whole lot of examples that are coming forward. Also, looking at industry valued credentials in addition to ACT scores. And so they're going through the process of identifying what those key achievements will be and how those points will be valued. And then additional opportunities, and this makes me, and I hope you, very, very excited, because this is what we have been focused on for the past 2 years. So not only completion of a pathway, but also work-based learning, internship, apprenticeship, capstones, and then also qualifying grades and scores within those pathways. And so what will happen is that schools will be awarded points for students who complete pathways, but who also participate in those internship opportunities, work-based learning opportunities, or enter into a capstone to further their learning their senior year, will be awarded through some type of point system. And so just a reminder that 30% of our high schools' overall letter grades will be related to all of these post-secondary readiness indicators. Any questions about, I know I kind of flew through that pretty quickly. Any questions about that tonight? Okay. And as we receive more information, we will absolutely present.
Do you think this plays into our favor, these changes?
Absolutely, yes. I think that this is the path that we've been working towards, and I feel like we are probably ahead of the game in a lot of areas. Now, I haven't seen the index, obviously, of points, but I do know that when we look at these three categories in the area of career and technical education with Ms. Williamson and Mr. Ellis leading the charge, this is exactly where we've been living in for nearing 24 months now.
I can tell you our local legislators have been listening and visiting with us for, 2.5 years now? And they have done an outstanding job being an ear here and a voice in Little Rock. I can also tell you that the governor's portion of LEARNS in regard to readiness is outstanding. And we've had, I can't tell you how many meetings, how many times I've traveled to Little Rock, you know that. And they've listened, and we're very tickled. And I think it's going to really represent the work that we're doing in Springdale and show that our kids are resilient also.
So there'll be some kind of method of, for example, Cargill, who was just here. Let's say a student goes for their senior year and spends an internship in Cargill, nutrition.
Yes.
Feed nutrition, and then they go on to college and Cargill hire. I mean,
So when
that's beneficial, obviously, for this.
Yes, so when students participate in those internships or in work-based learning, there are kind of different avenues that they can go through. They're actually enrolled in a course at school, even though they're at Cargill. And so the state will be able to pull these reports based on what students are enrolled in. And that's how we'll be able to calculate, how many students were in work-based learning, how many students did internship, so for example, you may be looking at that and saying, well, like, what is a capstone? One example of a capstone that we are just now able to put into motion is the heavy equipment program currently housed at Springdale High School. So students in multiple pathways, whether it be construction or industrial maintenance or agriculture, any pathway, they may say their senior year, they want to do a capstone in heavy equipment and get that certification. So we would enroll them in that capstone, and then they would get the points for participating in that capstone. And so there will be upcoming conversations about what do capstones look like in each pathway. And so we're just continuing to wait for more information from the state level determining those career pathways. But I can tell you that the career pathways they call them H3 pathways. And so that's high skill, high quality, high demand. And so all of that audit data helps sort of feed this process of determining these pathways.
Is there a way to get our kids that are just working, they're not necessarily in an internship or something like that, but they're just working daily or, 3 days a week?
Yes.
Roll that in and have that help also?
Yes, so that's an excellent question. So I'll kind of give you a two-part answer. One is we want to, so also Jobs for Arkansas Graduates, the JAG program is not specifically named on here, but we do have students who are in JAG that are scheduled into those programs, so it shows that they're out working while they're having a school experience. There will be some sort of alignment of that process. I'm not sure exactly what that will be yet. But also, kind of what we started this year, typically students who weren't in JAG before internship and work-based learning would ask for out periods to go to work. And so rather than just giving out periods now, what we're doing is we're letting our students know, if you have a job, we want to make sure that you're in a pathway, aligned with a pathway that meets your interest and your aptitude. And we also want to make sure that you're in work-based learning or that you're in internships so that we can make sure that that's a coordinated effort between the school district and our local industry. And so it's a process, but also our students beginning in 6th grade now are taking U-Science aptitude assessments that help them learn what their natural aptitudes and interests are. And so they'll be able to start exploring our pathways as early as 6th grade. And that will help us also to align what their interests are, ensuring that they're enrolled in the courses that lead to completion of pathways, and ensuring that they're tied in with as many industry professionals as possible to have those field experiences or that exposure based on their aptitudes and their interests. And so this year, our students in 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th grade are all taking the U-Science assessment. And so we're very excited about that as well. Any other questions? Okay. Science growth and achievement, I'm not going to spend a lot of time breaking down, I'm not going to spend any time breaking down these categories for you, but this is just a graphic to show you in K-8 and in 9-12 that because of the STEM jobs that are expected to grow over 2 times faster than all total jobs in the next decade, that the state is being proactive and more heavily weighting that accountability formula to reflect that growth and achievement in science in addition to ELA and math. And with that, I'm going to pass on to Ms. Fink.
I think I can read that.
Well, good evening, Board. As you know, we are transitioning to a new state assessment this year, and our new state assessment is the the Atlas Summative Assessment. Our students got to have their first experience with the Atlas assessment with science interns. Eventually, we will have interns available for math, reading, and science, but this year they only had science interns. So before I go over this first set of interim data, I want to kind of tell you a little bit about just some talking points that Dr. Langen gave me about the science interim test. Our district is requiring all of our students to take this assessment. Assessment will be offered in the fall or the winter. So 26 out of 31 of our schools opted to take it this fall. Our assessments, the science assessments, are designed to be computer adaptive, which means that the test questions vary based on how students are answering. So if a student's doing really well, then the questions get harder and harder and harder. And if the student's not doing very well, they get easier. That eventually will be what all of our interim tests will be, but for this year, there was a limited number of questions available, and so we have fixed assessments, which means every student gets the same test. Because of that limited number of questions, the fall assessment and the winter assessment are going to be the exact same. Something else that we need to note is that these tests are designed to measure an entire year's worth of content. And so it's really impossible to know in December. Like, a student's not going to know everything they need to know on the assessment, so it's hard to measure that. So also, we don't have cut scores. We won't have cut scores until the students take the test this year, and then next year they will give us cut scores. So we don't even know what target we're trying to hit right now. So why are we taking it? It's really giving kids an exposure to the new platform. This is a completely new platform our students have had no exposure to, so it allows them to use and practice the tools available on the test. So here is our data, and again, it doesn't tell us a whole lot. There are lines that run vertical by grade level, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. The blue line is the district average. The red line is the state average, and the green line is a target for mid-year. Again, we don't know what our grade level target is. So that green line is just set in the middle of every grade level. So you can see by school how our students performed by grade level.
I'm glad. I thought we were way below on everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were pretty close to the state average in most of our schools. We have some that weren't as close as others. But again, this test was given in December, and they have not had all the content, so there is definitely content our students have not had exposure to. And so I don't know if any of these schools are, if they're going to test again in the winter, because the test is the exact same, and if they do test, if that's going to be valid information that we'll be getting. But they will have the opportunity to test again in the winter if they choose to. And then the schools that did not participate will be taking it in the wintertime. Questions?
Change. Will you guys make sure we get digital copies of this?
Yes. Thank you.
Hello, Board, Dr. Cleveland. Okay, I've got a construction update. So at Central Junior High, they're doing a lot of the window frames and door frames. These are some of the glass walls that are going inside where the new Lowe's room will be. Some furniture going in. They've got the floors polished. Ceiling grids going in on the first floor, along with lights and all the ductwork and everything. So they're making good progress over there. They've started doing a lot of the tile work in the restroom areas. This is the auxiliary gym at Central. They've got it started. And this gym, it's set up a little different because of what we had to work with. It's a little bit longer shape, so it's going to have bleachers on the west end of the court. So you'll be watching it from the they're still doing a little bit of the brick. They're trying to finish this job up. So this is on the west side. They have a little bit of brick there to finish up. All of the exterior windows are put in. This is back on the east side. They've got the windows put in there also. And they've actually got the curbs poured and everything getting ready for that asphalt to go on the east side at Central. You guys have any questions about Central?
On those gray and white tiles, is that, like, that's the color they'll be, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are architectural metal panels. And there's actually some of those on if you're standing on the south end looking in the courtyard, there'll be some of those on the interior of that.
And what did you say they're called?
Architectural metal panels. Mhm. At Southwest, they're making a lot of progress also. The floors have been polished there. They're putting in all the interior windows and doors. They've got a lot of the ceiling grid in, the ductwork. This room, they're getting ready to put in all the lighting. That'll finish these rooms up. That's some more of the windows that they're installing. They're finishing up some of the railing and getting ready to start some of the painting on all the hand railing. There's a lot of hand railing on the second floor. Just more of the rooms. They're just starting a lot of the finish work in there, but they've got that building blocked off on the exterior and some heat going in there, so they're able to work no matter what. This is on the second floor, looking out of the lobby. So it's open from the second level. And then there's a picture of the overall look of it. So
Looks a little different.
it's a lot bigger than the old school, taller. So, you guys have any questions on Southwest?
Central and Southwest on schedule.
Right now, we're on schedule.
Which is, what is that? Remind me of that.
So Southwest will move into this summer. Central will move into phase 1, spring break, that week of spring break, so the Friday they get out. Our plan is to start moving everybody's belongings over to the new building. And then we've got to get some of the electric moved over because right now we're using temporary power out of the old building. And so we're going to refeed several of those areas. The main gym, the kitchen, the library, everything will get refed out of the new power out of the new building because once we get everything moved, we'll demo that old building out and then start phase 2. And they're going to start phase 2 back on the northwest corner. They're going to just head north with that building and then back over to the east. And then once that's complete, then they'll go back through and we will remodel what's the cafeteria now will turn into the library. And what we're using for the temporary kitchen will turn into some library offices and storage. And then we'll have the new kitchen up and running. It'll be about where the tennis court is now. You'll have kitchen, cafeteria over on that corner. And there'll be driveways around the west side so they can make deliveries and everything from that side. Dumpsters will be back there, kind of hidden behind the kitchen.
Phase 2 target,
It'll be spring of
25.
well, phase 2 is actually going to be probably first of the year, and then we'll do the remodels and stuff and then be into it fully that next year.
So August of 25.
We'll be in it a lot earlier, but that'll give us time to get everything in the right locations because when we move into phase 1, Dr. Lofton will actually have about 10,000 square feet more than he has now in the old building. But 2 of the rooms that aren't done yet are band and choir. So we're going to have spaces for them to go temporarily until phase 2's done, and then everybody will go to the final place.
Is the access road done to that new?
To the Emma?
Yeah.
It's ready for paving.
Okay.
We will, when we get the temporary C of O, spring break, we should get that road also. So our traffic plan there is going to change when they come back from spring break. But we should have access to that road, and then we'll also still have access to the road that goes out to Gutenson.
Should be a significant improvement.
Yeah. So,
We can't really do any of the asphalt, concrete stuff in the winter, can we? It's too cold.
it depends on the day. So they did a lot of concrete work, all the curbs and stuff over the Christmas break. They would have to get them and then cover them all up. So they're, depending on the day, they're getting in and doing what they can. But like I said, that building, the exterior is kind of sealed up, and they've got heaters running in there, so they're able to work. Springdale High School. So these are the tankless water heaters that'll run that whole facility. These will run one, if it just needs one, it'll call for one, or it could call for them all. It just depends on the demand. But they don't have tanks. So they're putting those in. We've got weights and equipment going in, and this is on the west side on the weight room by the trainer's room. They've put a lot, these are the stalls and everything in the restrooms they've got in. We've put all the classroom furniture in last week, and I don't think I got a picture of that. It wasn't done. This is the multi-purpose room that's upstairs, so that they're getting a lot of that in. We did have to make another order today. There was 2 locker rooms. We missed some chairs, 50 chairs, so we've got those ordered. They'll be here pretty quick. All the bleachers are going in. They still have to put in the volleyball standards. They still have some finished work to do. Concession stand, we've got the cabinets in, ice makers are going in, and some of that equipment. So they're going to start the punch list. So Core will be over there next week. The architects, they'll walk the building, they'll punch that building, and then contractor will get the list of stuff that needs fixed, and then they're going to start in resolving all those issues. But there is still quite a bit of work to do in there, just finish up work. We did have the scoring tables on the arena. We had made a change. Originally, we had backlit, and we changed them to video tables. So when we did that, that's going to put them back about, they said 2 to 3 months. So that's going to put them about March 1st getting here for the video tables.
For advertising?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, they'll be able to run ads and actually create some revenue.
Yep.
Okay, George Elementary. All of the gym walls are up. They've actually got the rafters up and the bar joist, and then they've actually started putting the decking on. So that'll be sealed up here pretty quick. And then this will be your cafeteria area. They've got those walls going up also. So they're making some progress over there. And they've got a lot of material on site. So this is another view on one of the, I think this was last Friday. They've got a lot of the waterproofing, liquid applied waterproofing on the building, the sections of building that are complete. So they're making a lot of progress over there also. That's some more of the liquid applied waterproofing. You guys have any questions on George? Okay. Okay. So Dr. Cleveland asked me to talk about the master plan a little bit. So some of the things that's on our master plan, and I just kind of put them in order from start with Springdale High, and then I'll move into HAR-BER. So at Springdale High, on the 6 tennis courts that's back there to your north, we had some drainage issues, and we've actually had those crack and where we can't use them. So our plan is to take those out, fix all the drainage issues, and then go back with concrete courts. The originals were asphalt courts that are probably 20 years old.
Just tell them how we did them.
Quality. So, I mean, it's probably 20 years ago. We got called to replace the courts. So we took a backhoe out there, we dug them up, hauled it off, hauled them off to a dirt farm. And then we went right back in and laid asphalt. No compaction or anything, so. And then when we did the track, we didn't touch the existing tennis courts. We added the 2 that's back to the south, and they are concrete. So
Those aren't cracking right now? Those are
No,
good?
no, they're concrete and we do have drainage. A lot of this probably happened before the track went in. The damage, it just took that long to actually show up on the asphalt. That's one of the projects. And then also back here, we would like to, inside that track facility, we would like to turf that. Right now, that's natural grass. And to be able to turf it would help all of the teams and PE and band and everybody have an extra place to use, just for practices and stuff. So that's the two things we'd like to do at the track and the tennis. On the football field, this one, we want to widen this field 15 feet, raise it up 18 inches, and then install new turf for the safety. And then demo down the locker room and the visitor concession that's on the east side. Get rid of those. We'll have to move the visitor bleachers over about 15 feet. And then we would like to update the pole lights on the field to LED heads. Keep the same pole, same crossbars, just new LED light heads. And then a lot of the white fence that's around both fields is deteriorated with the sun. We'd like to take all that out and put in some black fencing that'll match what we're putting in at Springdale on the south end.
Not the plastic stuff?
Not the plastic. Get rid of the plastic. It's deteriorated from sun. It's real brittle, so it's breaking pretty easy. So on the south end of the football field, we'll have like wrought iron fence there. And it'll actually have some gates where the visitors can run out onto the field, or we can close it off.
We've had significant issues with drainage on that field for a long time, haven't we?
Yeah, so the drainage on that south end, it can't keep up. If we get a heavy rains, it'll pond on that southwest corner. And there's actually, so that field, it has all drainage under it. It drains down to the south and then it goes back to the east. There's double sump pumps there. And sometimes we just can't get that water out and off the field fast enough. So in this proposed project, that's replacing that drainage. And I met with Flintco yesterday afternoon, and when we did the new arena, we actually put in new storm drains right between the field and the arena. So we should be able to, instead of pumping, we should be able to get all of that water to go right into the new storm drain. And then raising that field up, we've got the concrete all the way around. There's not that much boundaries by widening that field. That helps the safety of the players. And then just getting it up, we'll fix the elevation for whenever we do add a new the health and wellness facility back to the north. So the next thing on the list is that the new indoor health and wellness facility. So our plan is I'm going to work with Patsy Christie to close down Center Street from Kansas Street over to the 1000 building. That's some of the properties that we had purchased. And by
Visual of that too, Jeremy?
Huh?
Do you have a visual of that too?
Yeah. So here, this is on the football field looking north. So by closing Kansas Street, there's going to be some green space where Kansas Street was, because we have some utilities that run through there that we can't build over. And then this building has a 26,876 square foot, 2-story building on the west that will house PE, some multi-use rooms for all the athletics and PE, and then it will have a 43,327 square foot turf space in the center, the tall space with the white architectural metal panels, and that'll be PE and athletic space. And then on the east side, it'll have another 26,876 2-story that'll have PE, space. It'll have offices, trainers, and locker rooms. And then there'll be a parking on the west side of it.
Of course, this is just proposed, or
Uh-huh.
it looks, just a guess. So,
Yep. And then, so there's a view of what it would look like, the location of it on the field. And by doing this, then the home team and everything can come out on one end, visitors out on the other, right onto the field. Springdale High, we've got in there to add about 1,983 square foot of bleachers, an upper level of bleachers. That would fix the vision problems that you have when you're in those bleachers, looking down first base and third base lines. And then the same thing at softball. It's about at 1,983 square feet. So it's just elevating those bleachers up. Okay. At HAR-BER High School, it's time to replace that turf. It still meets the GMAX tests right now, but it's past its 10-year life cycle. So we will have to replace that turf. And then on the track at HAR-BER, there's some drainage. There's a water outlet that goes under the west corner of that track that's caused that track to settle a little bit. So we're going to have to cut that, get that back up, fix that drainage, and then resurface that track. And then we would also like to put in turf on that field also, because right now it's natural grass. But I mean, we've got a lot of people that use that facility, all the different PE from Hellstern, and stuff that use that field. So it'd give us another space to go without having to rely on somebody else's turf to use. And then at HAR-BER, we've got on there to add 14,389 square foot of turf to the existing 28,971 turfed area that we have. And then we would add an addition on the north. One of them would be about 3,724 square feet. It would have PE and then storage, a set of stairs, and then it would have a multi-use room. And then also on the north, there would be a 2,188 square foot addition that's multi-use and PE space. It's covered space. And then we would add a 35,088 square foot two-story physical ed building with support spaces on the west side, and then remodel the 10,000 square foot on the east for trainers, locker rooms, and then laundry, and then storage. And there's what it would look like on site. So the majority of it would go to the west toward the baseball, softball, and track, and then we would have those two little additions on the north. They would still come out of the indoor right onto the field, just like they do now. So HAR-BER baseball, it's pretty much the same thing, other than over there we would want to add, it's about 2,132 square feet, but over there we need more lockers. So they would have locker rooms and a coach's office on the underneath, and they'd have bleachers over the top of it, and that would fix that vision issue there. Same thing on the softball. It would have a locker room and office underneath and bleachers up on the top. And then, do you guys have any questions on Springdale High or HAR-BER High?
Yeah, question I think you may be asking, hey, how are we going to pay for all this? We don't have the money to do everything. We just don't. So that's why Donald Tucker and the foundation have really been working on capital planning, capital strategic planning. We still have to keep the lights on. We have to pay staff. We have to do all those things. And quite frankly, I don't know that patrons always want to step up and and pay additional tax money for athletic facilities. You know, oftentimes they just don't. So our commitment is working with the foundation to help add or gain additional money through our patrons in a different way, not through taxes. So that's our hope, that's our work, and that's our mission for the next 10 years or so. And I know you know that, but not everyone does.
So the last thing I had, we did get approved for some partnership funds for George Elementary to upgrade the HVAC on that building. So that'll be about, we got partnership funding for almost 1.2 million in partnership funds to complete that HVAC upgrade. So it's about 64,000 square foot of building space that would get new HVAC. Okay. You guys got any questions?
It's work cut out for you.
All right.
There may be time that we have a work session focused on facilities again soon, that you'd like to really dive into some of that.
Okay. All right.
Good job, Mr. Clark.
Good evening, Board. In your packets, you have the December financial statements. Do I have any questions for that? Or do you have questions? The other item on the agenda under my section is also a resolution to allow Celeste Creamer to be a vendor for the school district. She is a teacher at Central Junior High, and she does the alterations and repair of the choir clothing kind of on an as-needed basis. And so she's fast and cost-effective, so that is why we had presented this for your approval tonight.
Yeah, on the financials,
Oh, I'm sorry.
you feel good where we're at as far as?
Yes, we are ahead of where we were last year as far as our collections. Just the one thing just for y'all to remember is January, February, and March are typically the lowest collection months for taxes, so you'll see that decline over the next few months. But as far as where we are on the year, I'm very comfortable with what we projected and where we are so far. So, I'm sorry, Mr. Hutchinson, that I skipped over that.
No, that's fine. Does anybody have any other questions about the financial statements or the related party? We need to do those individually.
Make a motion that we accept the December financials as presented.
Okay, we have a motion by Mrs. Cook and a second by Mr. Emerson to approve the December financial reports. All those in favor of that, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And then the related party,
I make a motion that we approve the related party resolution for Celeste Creamer.
we have is that you, Ed? Okay, we have a motion by Mrs. Creek and a second by Mr. Ramos to approve the related party resolution. All those in favor of that, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed to that? Good to go.
Thank you, Board. Appreciate it.
Yep, that's all. Thank you.
Good evening, Board. Dr. Cleveland. My name is Valerie Hanna. I am the president of the Springdale Education Association and also a teacher here in the district. It has actually been a pretty quiet month. We had a very nice holiday party with our members the last day of school and got to get together and just kind of relax and get into that holiday spirit. And I was actually thinking of all the things that I personally, as a teacher, have been doing, and I was like, oh, I could tell, nope, that's not SEA. Well, I could tell them about, nope, that's also not SEA. So I guess that's a good thing, because that means there hasn't been anything crazy happening or going on. So I hope that everybody had a wonderful Oh, I did have one thing. The one thing, literally, for me to come up here and tell you guys. Myself and Miss Callie Day were nominated to possibly get to be delegates for Arkansas for the National Education Association that's in Philadelphia over the summer. So hopefully end of February, we will know if we have been selected for our zone. So, yeah. So, very hopeful, plus, you know.
How many delegates are there for each state?
For the state, let's see, we have 8 districts, and I think depending on the size of the district, you can have, well, it just depends on the size of the district. So let's put it this way. Last year, I believe we had 45 delegates at the conference in Orlando. Myself and Corey Tucker were 2 that got to go to that. I think we could have had upwards of about 70, but that was last year before payroll went away, and so we have lost some members, so it may change the number of actual delegates that we're allowed to have. But either way, I think it'll be a very good and educational experience. It definitely was last year for myself, so. That is all. So like I said, I hope everybody is having a great beginning of 2024, and that is all. Thank you.
Appreciate you being here. Thank you. Are there any patron comments? Anybody sign up? Okay. So we are going to retire into executive session to talk about some personnel issues. So we'll be back sometime. Let's call the meeting back to order, and I don't think there's really anything I have to say other than we're adjourned. Is there anything else I need to do legally? Okay, we're adjourned then. Thanks for hanging around.
Thank you.
Ow!